Yes, friends. In this video, particularly, we will start from the pivot table. How to pivot table use? This is very basic functionality we will use in the pivot table. What is the other functionality in the pivot table? We can use all the functionality of the pivot table. So we have to discuss with the pivot table with the analyze tab, with pivot table, with the table and all other functionality. Okay. Now we will discuss pivot table, another tab, all other functionality on the basis of this one. We'll share my screen and we will discuss the pivot table with this functionality. Yes, here is our data: invoice number, invoice date, sales number, customer number, product code, unit price, quantity, sales reported, sales tax, sales plus tax and month. Now we want to convert this data into the pivot table. And when we convert the data into the pivot table, at that time, all the data is very summarized. In the previous session, you have to store the summary, county, all this data on the basis of this one. With using of pivot table, only we will use the single click and the data will be sorted on the small pieces of this one. So now we have to clear about if we will use the summary, county, county phase, average phase, all this functionality on the compare of this functionality, this is a very useful functionality. So make sure that this functionality is basically used from the pivot table on the basis of the other functionality. Pivot table is basically summarize of the all the data. Count if summary average if this is summarize of data. But sum if count if this is a time consuming comparative to pivot table. We can create only single click on the pivot table and all the data is filtering of the pivot table. Now we will check that on the basis of this one product code, quantity, unit, and what do you mean by the pivot table? In the insert tab, two option is available. First is pivot table and second is table. In some cases, we have to convert into the table. Why we convert into the table? You show in the indirect functionality. All the data is converted to the table. Indirect functionality this is used for dependent validation list. If the list is updated, so automatically data is updated. So make sure that if this functionality is used for the any data is update, any data is delete, any updation of data, then we use the table. This is called pivot table. This is all are the different chart which we will use. This is all are the spark line, column, one, bean and focus. This slicer is a one type of filter also. So we will use the slicer also. And yes, we will discuss the text to column, remove duplicates, data validation, consolidated, what if analysis, shorting this functionality. Filter is now, we will discuss the filter in the next session also. So we will discuss the filter also, group and group also. Group and group is a part of the pivot table also. Protected work document and all this functionality is now clear. Arrange all free span and macro. Yes, important part is macro is not convert to that. This is a developer tab. There we will use the developer tab and this is a design tab. Design tab is a table design tab. We will use this design on the table also. In the data tab, one function is subtotal. Subtotal is also functionality that will be use this functionality. Okay, friends. Now we will use the pivot table. Pivot table before we will use the subtotal pivot table comparison to subtotal pivot table. A subtotal option is available here. This is a subtotal option. Subtotal and pivot table. Both the functionality give the same result, but same result when we use with different places. The subtotal use and different places uses pivot table. So make sure that both the functionality is very different when we use the pivot table and subtotal. So both the functionality is different. If you use either the pivot table, either the subtotal. So make sure that both the functionality is different. So uh, w- uh, either subtotal and pivot table, but 90% situation we will use the pivot table. In 10% situation we will use the subtotal. Yes, subtotal. So that is a main disadvantage of the subtotal in the sales department, marketing department. That is a definitely use the subtotal. But 90% cases it will be used the pivot table. Okay. So so make sure that okay, in which places you will be use the pivot table and which places you will be use the subtotal. That is both are the different functionality. So make sure that both the functionality is different and both the places is also different. So both the places you have to use the subtotal and pivot table, but in a different places. Yes. What do you mean by the pivot table first? When our data is a summarize our data, at that time we will use the pivot table. Second, we have a huge number of data, but data we want to use the on the particular manner, horizontal, vertical, total. This is all are the pivot table. Third, all the data is converted into the table. At that time, pivot table is result is very accurate when we use the pivot table. If we will use the uh, very da- very arranging data, at that time pivot table use with the very accurate result. So after the pivot table, we will convert to the pivot chart, right? Chart basis, this is all are the analyze basis. Both the bases are very important. So here you can see, now first we will check this is all are the unique number or not. If it is unique number, then we can use the easily the pivot table. If it is duplicate data, so at that time any duplication is repeated, so it will be create a error. Here you can see that we will use the if functionality. This value minus this value equal to 1. If a4 minus a3 equal to 1, then here we will see is a no duplicate. I think so. It's equal to 1. Then we will write the formula no duplicate. Otherwise, else it is a duplicate value. No duplication. Here you can see this is a duplication value. 3 minus 3 equal to 0. 5 minus 3, this is also equal to 0. Also equal to 2. This is a, but here we cannot see this is a duplicate value. So if the value is equal to, we can see here it's a greater than 0. If I'm writing down greater than 0, then also it will be converted to the no duplicate. This is a duplicate value. This is a 3 minus 3. This is a greater than or equal to. So here is a duplicate greater than 0. A6, A7 minus A6. If it is equal to 0, then this is a duplicate. Otherwise, else it's a not duplicate. Yes. Here is a gap. This is a not duplicate. This is called gap. 5 to 3. This is a 2 gap. So here it is a not a duplicate, but here it's a gap. So you want to find out the gap on the basis of greater than 1. If we will write down here, if this value minus this value is greater than 1, then gap, otherwise else no gap. 5 minus 3, here is a E7 minus E6 is greater than 1. It's a 2. 7 minus 6. 5 minus 3 greater than 2, then that is gap, otherwise there's no gap. So it will be find the gap or no gap value. Okay. Duplicate, not duplicate, gap, no gap value. It will be find out here. Now, this is a gap value. So we have to find out this gap value and we will put out 4. So now the value will be same. All the value will be same. If it is not same, then I will be use this double click. So make sure that in this using of double click, all the value 900 is the same. Now with using of simple data, we cannot put the pivot table in this big data because this is a all are the basic. We will put the data into this is big data, so we have to confuse that. So now we will replace this value. Invoice number, invoice date, sales number, customer number, product code, unit price, quantity, sales before tax, sales plus tax and month. This is all are the function, right? Now make sure that this is all are the different functionality. So we can use this functionality on the basis of this one. Now we will use the pivot table first. When we use the pivot table, before it will be converted to the table. Insert table, table as a header value. This is all are the header value. Invoice number, invoice name, sales number, customer number, product code, unit price, quantity, sales before tax, sales plus tax and month value, right? This is called a table. Why we convert to the table first? If 1 4 times 0 25, third Feb 06, it will be automatically all the data convert to the table. Now you can see here all the data. It's automatically convert to the table. Invoice number, invoice date, this is automatically convert to the table. Now you can see here. This is a data, it will be automatically convert to the table. So now we will insert anything. It will be automatically go for the next value, next table. Here is the data, it will be convert to the next value, next table. Invoice date, sales number, customer number, product code, unit price, quantity, before tax and month. Right? Now we will use the this is called the table. Now if it is table, then filter option is also available. This is called as filter. Yes, this is called as filter. Filter option is available from your side. Now we will go for the design tab and convert to the range. If it is convert to the range, it will be normal range. This is not a table. If you are adding anything, deleting anything, it will be not reflect in the pivot table. If it is converted to the table, it will be automatically reflect in the pivot table. Okay. So We'll go for the insert tab, pivot table, table range. Yes, this is called table range. This is use external data source. This is called connection. External data source, it means that Excel, another file, you want to use this file with using a power table. New worksheet, existing worksheet, and location. New worksheet, it means that the data is put out in the new worksheet, new Excel sheet. If it is existing worksheet, it means that you have to put the data on this Excel worksheet, right? Select the table or range. Here is a table or range. You can select the not whole the range. You can select only for this range also. Yes, this one is range K16. It's my range. You can put out the whole the range. Use the external data source. Choose the connection. It's a connections value. It's a different Excel file, different connection file, and you have to open here the browse the connection. Yes, we will use this on the when we use the different pivot table. This is connections and query. We will use this functionality. This is called external data source. This is existing worksheet. We can pivot table on this worksheet also. And we will use this is all other worksheet. We will use the pivot table on this worksheet and we will use the new worksheet. Select the data range. By default, this both option is available. We will use the existing worksheet and we will use the new worksheet both the places. Now we place the OK button. When we OK button, at that time you can see that option command. In the 2000 after the 2010, this option command name is analyze command, and this is called design command. So option and design, both the option is available from your side. Option and design command. This is called option command and this is called design command. Both the option is available from you. You can put the both the option. This is called as a report filter. This is called as a column label. This is called as a row label, and this is called as a total value. We can use this value, report value, column value, row value, and filter value, total value. We can use the filter also, column label also, row label also, and value also. We can do anything with this value. Now, if we want to the row filter, it's mean that we can filtering the any value that is called as a report filter. Now the column label, row label, and value. Row, it means that this is row wise, and column it means that H, I, J, K, L. This is all at the column. Here we will click on this value. Otherwise, I'll drag on this value. Now this is called field list. Pivot table field list. This is called field list. Plus minus buttons field header. This is field header. This is plus minus button and field header. If it is available or not available, both the option is field header. Header is not available, then heading part is not available. If plus minus button is not available, then plus minus button. Here the pivot table, this option is not available. This is called field list. If field list is not available, then list is not available. If you want to use the field list, you can go for the option command, field list, and file header. This is all at the heading of this value. So we have to clear idea. This is all the command is pivot table command. You can use this pivot table command, right? Here is a field selection. Field selection area, select the stack. If you want to use this stack, then you can use this. This is all other option. This is only for field. You cannot want the stack also. This is the area selection, row filter. This is called the area, report filter, column label, row label, and sigma value. This is the area selection only 4 pieces. This is 4 pieces. By default, this is the stack value basis. So you want to use the stack basis on the basis of this one value. Now we want to this value. If for example I'm closing this value and closing the pivot table, we'll delete this value. Now you can see option command, design command, this all other command is visible. So make sure that design tab and option tab both will be enabled. when the our pivot table create the pivot table also. Otherwise else it will be not enabled. It will be disabled. Is that clear? Option insert when we create the pivot table at that time option command and analyze command. This is only enabled. All other command this will be not enabled. Right. So we will go for the data tab, go for the pivot table, right? So now option command and design tab. This is both are enabled. Otherwise else it will be not enabled, right? So both the command it will be enable option command and design tab. Otherwise this option is not available from your side. So make sure that option command and design table will be only enabled when the pivot table is enabled. Otherwise both the command is not enabled from your side. Okay. So now this is called report filter, this is called column label, this is called row label, this is called value. Different layout update. If it is different layout update, we will not option command is available. This is different layout, and this is a when we the different layout update is disabled, then it will be disabled also. So make sure that both the option is available from your side. This is called the design tab. So this is called as a pivot table and this is called as a option command. So both the command is enabled from the your side. This is all are the pivot table option. You can use the pivot table option any places. Now if I'm clicking on invoice number for only click, you can see it will be put out the any place. Invoice number in some places. If I'm not using invoice number here, we will put the invoice number in here report filter. So you can see here this is report filter, this is called as a filter, so it will be filter. If I'm not using report filter here, we will use the row label, so it will be row label. If I am putting column label, this is column wise label. Now you have to clear what is a column label, what is a row label, what is a report filter, and what is a sigma value. Because when we create the pivot table, at that time we have to clear idea about the report table, column label, row label, sigma value. This is all we have to clear about that. Otherwise, else we have not any idea about how my field is put out in the report filter, how to fill my put out in the column label, how field is my put out into the row label. So this is a different functionality which one we will use this functionality column label, report filter, row label. So we will use this functionality. This is row label. This is report filter. So we will use the different functionality in the different places we can put here and we can do the functionality. Now, when we use this functionality on the basis of particular pivot table, then what can we do? Use this functionality. So we can do the easily this functionality. So we can use this easily with this functionality. So we can use this functionality on the basis of report filter. If I'm doing the report filter here, this is all are the only for filtering of this value. Now we want to create the pivot table on the basis of this value. So we want to, what can we want to do this? First, this is called as an invoice number. This is our row label. If we will use the invoice date, sales number, customer number, we can use also. If we will use this invoice number here, this is column label. If I'm use this invoice number is here, this is row number. Both the value is row number. So you can see here the layout. One value and the different value. If the invoice number is a second value, then you can show here this is a sales number and the invoice number. So now you have to make sure that in the which one places you will be put and how to data. I think so when we put the invoice number and the sales number, so it will be one value different the one sales person particularly. Now we have to put the sales number and invoice number. First the sales number, second the invoice number. Now you can see here one salesperson attend the both the invoice number value. So I think so this is the best layout. So we have to want to use the best layout on putting of the data in particular position. If I am putting the data invoice number first, then this is not a particular position because every individual number and every sales number is a individually working. In this layout, we will use the sales number and invoice number. One salesperson attended to invoice number. So this is the best layout. So I'm clarify that okay, you want to use the pivot table, so you have to clear idea about that, which will put out in the which places. That is the best use of the pivot table, right? The next, if I'm putting the sales customer number, for example, by default this is a sigma value. This is we cannot sigma. It is a totaling value basically. Row label and this is a label value and this is a filtering value. If I'm putting the customer number here, so you can see here the customer number, invoice number. If I'm putting the invoice number is the last, then you have to show 101. This is the sales number. Customer number 21466. This all are the invoice number, right? If the invoice number, you can see here the customer number is report filter also. So you have to filter in this one. You can put out the otherwise else you have to put out the customer number in a column number. This is column number. But yes, in this value we have to customer number on this one. This is 102. This is our sales number. Invoice number this one 10017 and 24. This is value. And this invoice number value, this is the customer particular number. Customer number is different from all other value. If the customer number is second, then you can see here this is different invoice number. It will be value will be selected from this value. So you have to select from this one. You have to select from this one value. This is customer number and this is the invoice number. You have to put out the invoice number. If any other places you will be use that. This is called customer number and invoice number. Okay, now you have to clear idea about the report filter, column label, row label. This is all we have to clear idea about this. We will discuss in the next video from the next functionality.